Word today, July 19th, we're looking at 2 Kings 17, 2 Chronicles 28, Psalm 46, James chapter 3. I think we're going to pick up in 2 Kings 17, maybe have time to turn to Psalm 46. And what we're going to find here is a reason for a demise of a people. And so, something to pay attention to. It says, in the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, Hoshea, the son of Elah, began to reign in Samaria over Israel. He reigned 9 years. He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel who were before him. And against him came Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his vassal and paid him tribute. The king of Assyria found treachery in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Egypt, and offered no tribute to the king of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. The king of Assyria invaded the land and came to Samaria. For 3 years he besieged it. So, it's a mess. Here we go. Verse 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria captured Samaria, and he carried away the Israelites to Assyria and placed them in Halal on the Habra, the river of Gozan, and the cities of the Medes. So why did all this happen? Well, glad you asked. Verse 7. This occurred because the people of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, who had brought them up out of the land of Egypt, and from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the customs of the nations whom the Lord drove out before the people of Israel, and in the customs the kings of Israel had practiced. They did secretly against the Lord their God things that were not right. They built high places in their towns, from watchtower to fortified city. They set up pillars and Asherim on every high hill and under every green tree. They made offerings on the high places, as the nations did, whom the Lord carried away before them. And they did wicked things, provoking the Lord to anger. They served idols, which the Lord said, "You shall not do this." Yet the Lord warned Israel and Judah by every prophet and every seer, saying, "Turn from your evil ways, keep my commandments and my statutes, in accordance with all the law that I commanded your fathers, and that I sent you by my servant, the prophets." Right? So they're doing all these things against God, right? Idols, idol worshiping, other gods, high places, and other detestable practices. God sends prophets and others to warn. Verse 14, but they would not listen. They were stubborn, as their fathers had been, who did not believe in the Lord their God. They despised his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers and the warnings he gave them. They went after false idols and became false. They followed the nations around them, concerning whom the Lord had commanded they should not do like. They abandoned the commandments of the Lord. Right? And there's this ongoing degradation of society until God says, enough. Enough is enough. The warning nationally would be what? When you forsake God, he doesn't force himself. The warning personally is God's laws and his rules that we see throughout the Bible are given not to harm us, not to restrict us, but to protect us. When we go outside of his boundaries, when we sin against him, we're causing ourselves harm, and he's going to correct us. He's going to discipline us in his love. And so respond to that. And the more that we respond to the Lord, this judgment begins in the house of God, in this new covenant, the more potential we have to live lives that are God-honoring and God-fearing, in then being able to translate, as Prophet Jeremiah tells the people when they were in Babylon, to flourish in the city, right? To have kids, to get married, to prosper and be a blessing to the community around. And the way that the believer is all of those things isn't just, oh, he makes more money than other people, but it's because we're living a different kind of life and God's blessing. Not a perfect life by any stretch, but that's the direction we can go. That's the things that we can do to really impact our community. Till next time, keep growing little by little.